I welcome you all back to my next episode. In our last conversation, I shared a part of my truth that for a long time was buried in silence. We talked about child marriage and the end of childhood. But today, I want to ask a question that many of us in this story can carry in our hearts. Where did this cycle of survival begin? To understand our homes today, we have to look at the shadow that has followed us across borders. Today, we are talking about what war does to families and the intergenerational trauma that lives in our DNA. For over 40 years, the Afghan identity has been shaped by conflict. But war isn't just something that happens on a battlefield. War is a thief. It steals the sense of safety from a father. It steals the peace of mind from a mother. And it turns a home from a place of growth into a place of survival. We cannot ignore the scale of this devastation. The decades of war in Afghanistan have devastated the people, leaving the legacy of immense loss, economic collapse, severe human rights crisis. Today, millions face displacement and deep poverty, while systematic restrictions, particularly on women, have severely limited access to education, healthcare, and basic freedoms. When we live within this kind of collapse, your brain changes. You become hyper-vigilant. You learn that the world is dangerous, that people cannot be trusted, and that control is the only thing keeping your family alive, so as lying, so as being deceptive. This is why we see so much control in our homes today, in our communities, in our societies, even in here in the West. Our parents and grandparents didn't leave the war behind when they boarded the plane. They brought that survival mood with them, that need to keep daughters close, to keep sons silent, and to maintain the golden mask of perfection. It all comes from a place of deep, unhealed fear. They weren't trying to be toxic. They were trying to stay safe in a world that had already taken so much from them. Trauma, trauma. Trauma is like an echo. You don't have to experience the explosion of yourselves to feel the vibration. As children of dysphoria, we carry the ghosts of our parents' displacement. We feel their grief for the homes they lost. We feel their anxiety about the future. We inherit their silence. We are the generation that is physically safe, but emotionally still scanning for danger, unfortunately. But here is the truth we need to share. We need to hear. Survival's not the same as living. We can honor our parents' sacrifices without inheriting their trauma. We can acknowledge that war broke our family trees, but we are the ones who get to plant new seeds. Healing begins when we stop seeing our parents' behavior as culture and religious belief and start seeing them as wounds. Thank you for walking through this history with me. Moving beyond shame means recognizing that our stories didn't start with us, but the healing can. We are the generation that carried the scars of one world into the freedom of another. But how do we navigate that? How do we find our footing when our hearts are in Kabul, but our lives are in Canada? In our next episode, we are going to talk about the in between, the challenge and the beauty of living between two worlds and reclaiming our Afghan Canadian identity. Stay with me. In our next segment, we are going to talk about how we can start to redefine what strength is and what strength can actually looks like in our homes, and how we can heal together, not just as a families, but as a society. We can all create that psychological safety. Thank you.